Good morning. Happy Theory Thursday. Today we are going to be looking at the circle of fifths. You've no doubt heard about it. I'm here to try to explain it and talk about how important it is. So I got my gold tweed tie on today and my Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, just kidding, my Mickey Mouse watch on. And I told the story about this in one of the Tuesday videos, so go find that. It's an interesting story. So anyway, circle of fifths. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, today we're talking about the circle of fifths. You've no doubt heard about it. It's a great tool to be used in music, especially for songwriters, actually. Because, well, we'll talk about this in another lesson, but the 5-1 relationship, if you're looking at a key, the 5 chord always wants to pull to the 1 chord. So knowing your fifths would help out a lot as a songwriter. Directing where you want your listeners to go, where you want to resolve to, all that stuff. But not only is it important for songwriters, it also is the backbone of Western music and the harmony we create with it. So it's something I would recommend you memorizing. It's not something you could pull out on a gig and look at, just something you got to know. And that's this kind of information, okay? So what is it? Well, just like the title says, it's a circle. We'll just write it over here. Okay? Circle of fifths. We start at the top here with C. Now, what order do they go in? Well, just like it sounds, it's fifths away. Easy way to look at it. Let's do it like this. E, F, G, A, B. Okay? Starting on C. What's a fifth away from C? Well, it's called a perfect fifth because there's no major or minor version of the interval. Like if you remember, major third and minor third. Major third is 4 half steps. Minor third is 3 half steps. Okay? Perfect fifth is 7 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? There's no other version of a fifth. If you did 6 half steps, you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd get an F sharp. That would be what we call a tritone, and we'll talk about the importance of the tritone in another video. If you did 8 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you get A flat or G sharp, and you get a minor sixth. Okay, so there's no in between. A fifth is a fifth. There's no minor or major fifth. It's just the fifth. And actually, it's the same case for a fourth. Perfect fourth, which is 5 half steps. Similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get F. If you got 6, we'd get that tritone like we talked about. And if you did 4, you would get a major third. So the fifth and the fourth, real strong intervals. There's no wavering. There's no, well, let's see. It might be a minor fifth. It might be a major fourth. No, if there's a fourth, there's a fifth. That's it. So as a Western harmony, we've built this whole thing off fifths. So we just count out by 7 half steps. So from C to G is a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we just keep going around. What's a fifth away from G? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get D. And I'll spare you the counting. Here's what it equals out to. A fifth away is A. A fifth away from from that is E, fifth away from that is B, fifth away from that is F sharp, C sharp, also could be D flat, just like also this could be G flat. This is A flat, E flat, B flat, and F. There you go. Okay. Circle of fifths. They're all fifth away. And if you go the other way, it's a circle of fourths. So this way is fifths, counterclockwise is fourths. Okay. Where this becomes important is the order of the sharps and the flats. Okay. To learn your major scales and minor scales and all your scales and all your keys, you need to know what keys have sharps, which ones have flats, which, how many, where do they go. So even if you're not writing out sheet music where you actually need to notate it, it's helpful to know. So when you're playing in a key, you know that you're playing a C sharp minor chord instead of a C minor chord, because those are completely different things. Okay, so circle of fifths. That's a flat, not a 7. So let's take a look. I'll just write out how many sharps and flats are in each of these, and then we'll go back and explain why. So starting at the top, the key of C has 0 sharps and flats. Okay, it's all the white keys on the piano. Okay. 0 sharps, 0 flats. So that's why it's at the top. It could go either way. You can go by fourths, you can go by fifths, but that's the great place to start because you're at ground 0. Okay. G, 1 sharp. D, 2 sharp. A, 3 sharp. Okay, you're starting to see the pattern here. That's why this works. Okay, you memorize your circle of fifths, you memorize how many sharps or flats are in each key. Okay, so we'll keep going here. 4 sharps, 5 sharps. Now F sharp would be 6 sharps. G flat would be 6 flats. Okay, C sharp would be 7 sharps. D flat, 5. Oops. 5 flats. Okay, so this is the transition from sharps to flats. It happens here because you can't, this would be a G sharp. So if you just think of the key of G, but sharp everything, and G already has 1 sharp. So it would be everything sharped, plus the F has a double sharp next to it. That's just stupid. We don't do that, and that's why we don't notate it like that, okay? This is all for ease of writing, ease of playing, and ease of sight reading, okay? So that's why this switch occurs, because right here, we're getting into the max amount. 7 is the max amount of sharps or flats you can have. Because that's how many notes there are in a key, right? There's only 7 notes in a given key, and then it just repeats itself. So that's why this switch happens here into the flats. Okay, so we'll just continue on. We're at 6, 5, 4 flats, 3 flats, 2 flats, 1 flat, and we're back to 0. Okay, so that's the order. If you're looking at sharps, this is a good thing to remember. Okay. So, if you ever are questioning what key you're in, how many sharps, how many flats are in it, easiest way to do it is just to memorize this, and okay, well, I'm in the key of E, that has 4 sharps in it. I know that. And if you don't know that, you can just count up by fifths. Okay? Now, if you don't know how many sharps or where they start or whatever, what you can do is figure out how many sharps are in the key, but what sharps are they? So I know G has one sharp, but which one is it? Which note of the 7 are sharp? If you go to B, which sharp is it? You know, which 5 of the notes are sharp? Okay, this is how you find out. This is the order of the sharps. It does not happen any other way. This is the only order that they can appear. Okay, in a key. In music, you can write in a sharp wherever you want, but that's taking you outside of the key just for that note, and that's why that's the way it is. If you're just looking at the key, this is the only way it can be. This is the order, okay? So, you take a look at G. It has one sharp in it. Well, that one sharp has to be F sharp, okay? Take a look at the next one. Key of D has 2 sharps in it. Those 2 sharps have to be F sharp and C sharp, okay? And this works the whole way down. You get all the way to F sharp, major. It has 6 sharps. Those 6 have to be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, until you get to C sharp when all 7 are sharp, okay? That's the only order sharps can show up. So if you know you're in a key with 4 sharps, these are the 4, F, C, G, D, okay? An easy way to remember this, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, okay? Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Now you're going to love this. What about the flats? How do I know what the order of the flats are? I know I'm in the key of E flat. It has 3 flats. What are the flats? Check this out. Same thing. The other way, okay? It's just in reverse. So key of F has 1 flat. It has to be B flat. Key of A flat has 4 flats. Has to be B, E, A, and D. Those are the 4 flats, okay? So when you're writing out, well, let's do this first. This moniker we just did, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, works with this as well. Battle ends, and down goes Charles' father. Battle ends, and down goes Charles' father. Okay? For some reason, in my head, I memorized this just as bead GCF. I will never, ever, ever forget that. I know that's the order of the flats. For some reason, that's how I memorized it without the moniker. So I actually remember the flats much better than I remember the sharps, for whatever reason. Bead GCF, that's what I remember. And then for sharps, I just reverse it in my head. Okay? Now, how do we use this when we're looking at scales, when we're writing them out? Here's another tip. So this is the order, sharps and flats. When you're writing out a scale, a major scale, a minor scale, doesn't matter. Each letter name has to be used at least once. Once. There's no more, no less. Each letter name has to be used once. Okay? Say it one more time because it's important. Each letter name has to be used once. Let me make some room here. Each letter name has to be used once. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? Well, let's pick one of the harder keys. Let's say we're going to use B major. It has 5 freaking sharps in it, okay? What are the sharps? Well, we know we can count it out, but let's write it out. So, all scales follow the same pattern. It's your ABCs to G, and then it repeats. So, let's write it out. A B major scale would be B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and then we're back to B, okay? Now, I know it has 5 sharps in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 I'm working with. F sharp has to be sharped. C has to be sharped. G has to be sharped. D has to be sharped. A has to be sharped. Okay? That's your major scale. That's the B major scale. Okay? See how each letter name is used once, and you can put in the accidentals afterwards. Okay? And then, like we talked about in the major scale chords, now you can build all your chords based off the key of B. So I know the 1 chord is B, D sharp, F sharp. 2 chord is C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G sharp, and so on and so forth. So let's do it with one more. Let's do it with a flat. So let's do A flat. Okay? So we read out all the letter names. Easy as that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we're back to A. Okay? Write out all the letter names. Each one has to be used once. So there's no B and then a B flat. There's no D, D sharp, right? There has to be an E. There has to be a C. There has to be one of each. Okay? Now we know we have 4 flats, so let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at these 4. B has to be flat. E has to be flat. A has to be flat. Obviously, we're in the key of A flat. And D has to be flat. That's the key of A major. Okay? It's an A major scale. Okay? I'm going to write a few more things on the middle here. Okay. You might notice it's the same pattern with just a few things different in the crossover. Starting on C, we're starting on C. It's the same pattern, G, D, A, E, B, G, D, A, E, B. Okay? Same thing. It's the same pattern. The whole thing's just turned counterclockwise. Now, what the heck are these? This is what you would call relative minors. Okay? Relative minors. We'll get more into this in another video. But it's important to see here how they all match up. It's the same pattern. The whole thing is just turned back 3 steps. Okay? What a relative minor is a scale, a minor, that uses the same notes as the major. It's relative major. So in this case, we can look at this and say, okay, well, I know a C major scale has 0 sharps and flats. Okay? That means A minor also has 0 sharps and flats. Okay, let's go to a different one. E has 4 sharps. That means C sharp minor also has 4 sharps. And here's the best part. They're the same. They're the same sharps. You know that this order can't be changed. It can't be mixed up. Okay? You just happen to start the scale on a different note. All right? So we'll get more into that in another lesson. I think that's enough information for today. That's the circle of fifths, why it's so important. Like I said, you wouldn't carry a chart of this around on a gig, but it's important to memorize so you can deduct how many sharps and flats are in a key. You can see the foundation of how everything was built in Western music, and literally starting from counting half steps, right, all the way to the whole system we use, the sharps, the flats, the keys, how they translate, how they're relating to each other, and how they work together. Okay, so that's the circle of fifths. A lot of info, but it's important info. So hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.